Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition RLW from Roofers Coffee Shop. My name is Heidi Ellsworth, and I'm really excited about this RLW today because it is all about what is happening with Leap. So if you were recently at the International Roofing Expo or you've been reading on Roofers Coffee Shop, you'll know that Leap and JobProgress are now together, and they have made some amazing innovations and a brand new platform to look at. So we're going to learn all about that today. Great cutting edge information. So let's get started. I would love to introduce and welcome Troy Winskowicz to this RLW. Troy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here too.
I'm really excited to hear all the scoop. So this is going to have a lot of great information and where everything is going. So before we get started and dive in, if you could introduce yourself and maybe just tell us a little bit about Leap.
Sure. So I'm Troy Winskowicz. I am Chief Product Officer at Leap. I've been building, software solutions for customers for over 20 years. Before that, I worked in the building industry for a bespoke builder, remodeler. And so now I get to pull both of those experiences together and build some great products for our customers.
It's great. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you. So let's get to this, but I want to remind everyone that we are recording this very special RLW, and it will be on demand since this is a Friday, probably by Monday, and you will see it on demand. We want this to be interactive as always. So please feel free to get into the chat, and I'm going to make sure everyone is all ready to go on that. So the chat is open. Please share who you are, where you're coming from, your type of business, commercial, residential. We want to know everything about you, of course, but more than that, we want you to be asking questions as we go. This is very interactive. Troy is excited to share all the information. So if you have questions, don't wait till the end. Go ahead and pop them in the chat, or even any comments or accolades. So we'll get started now. We're going to start with first the history of Leap. So Troy, what is that history?
So Leap was founded 7 or 8 years ago by two roofers, Patrick Fingal and Steve Stencil, and they saw a need within their own company to improve the sales enablement process. So the ability for a sales rep to become effective and really present professionally and effectively in the home. So they developed this solution that they used internally for a while, and then started, frankly, getting asked if other roofers could use it, and they launched Leap. And we have thousands of users, and it's been a great success story.
We've done some great podcasts with both Steve and Patrick, and so I recommend everybody, if you haven't listened to those podcasts, it is such a strong history and so contractor driven, that's why it makes sense that the platform has been so successful. Contractors understand what contractors need. So that is great. And then just recently you acquired JobProgress. Yep. So congratulations. Maybe you can share that same thing, the history of JobProgress, with everyone out there.
Yeah, and it's a very similar story, and I think it's a common story in this industry. David, who was the CEO of JobProgress, saw a need and built this platform. And while it's a very similar story, had a different vision. Or maybe not a different vision, but a different starting point. He built a platform that really allowed a contractor to manage the chaos from start to finish, right? And really get control of the business as they were growing. He saw that as a critical opportunity to help these folks. So same genesis, same story, but a slightly different starting point of where in the process they were going to solve the solution.
I mean, and two different needs that the industry really had, like you said,
Yeah.
that the technology was able to deliver solutions. And so talk a little bit then, I mean, when you brought these two amazing technologies together, what was the inspiration for the merger?
Well, I think you just provided a great segue. Um, so these two solutions had the same intent, right? We just wanted to help the contractor grow, help them manage their business, help them perform better. But they were also very complementary solutions. So I think with any merger of two companies or two, especially in the software space, um, both companies realize that, it's kind of a cliche, but 1 + 1 = 3. That if you put these things together, we can achieve more together. We can provide better service to our customers. We can get efficiencies. We can learn from each other. So I think this is the perfect example of this, where the cultures were very similar. We have great employees on both sides that are now one team, and they just get along really well. There's a very similar culture, and the products are complementary. A lot of Leap customers would ask Patrick or Steve for recommendations on a CRM to manage the rest of their business, because you really need both. Um, so it just made sense. Not all acquisitions make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of times things come together and you're like, why in the world would they combine those things? That doesn't make any sense. But this one, it really makes sense from the people, the technology, and where both companies wanted to go.
Okay. That makes so much sense. And you really, that end-to-end opportunity for the contractor to have something that makes sense from that first lead generation all the way to the referral.
Yeah.
I think that is becoming, we're seeing a drive from contractors who want that.
It is a well proven or well told story in lots of different industries, not just this space, that as the software in the market, and this being the home remodel repair contractor market, as software matures, then there becomes a need from the buyers to leverage lots of different things, and as they mature, they get more and more complicated. And so it's just a natural evolution that you go from needing lots of point solutions because that's what's available,
Mhm.
to starting to see, oh, there are all-in-one solutions there, and no solutions ever, completely all-in-one. We have
No.
great partners that we integrate into our products so that you can leverage them both through the same interface. But that's a common thing. It's that things come together as they mature, and we're trying to accelerate that.
Yeah. Well, having been involved myself in the technology part of it with EagleView, I know that there's just so many things that need to come together. And nowadays, even looking at all of the apps, I mean, that tech stack is becoming more and more important to really understand, make sure you have all the right pieces for your business. And that kind of leads to that future need, right? Of what's the next thing that contractors are looking for. And and here we go.
So there's a lot of next things, and not everybody's the same, because contractors are at different stages of maturity, and they're in different markets. But let's start with what we have. And this is an important note for people who know JobProgress, and everybody knows the brand. We've been around for a while, but JobProgress, that application, that CRM, is now known as the Leap platform. And it sounds a little backwards because, well, wait a minute, your company is Leap. I read in the press release that Leap acquired JobProgress. But really, if you think about from the contractor perspective, from the customer perspective, which is how we make our decisions, the product formerly known as JobProgress is the base. It runs the core business. So that is now our core platform. And we call it the Leap platform. and it handles everything from the lead coming in, setting the appointment, going on site and doing the estimate and closing the deal, running production, managing your schedules with your crews and your sales folks, integrating with your vendors like EagleView or SRS. And it still does everything it did before. It just has a new name. And next slide.
Oh, next slide. Yes.
Uh,
Sorry.
Continue this because I'll continue the story. I'm on a roll. So the product formerly known as Leap is now called Sales Pro. And the reason we changed that name is so we're keeping the Leap brand company name. You know, we love our t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's a great brand. And so we are Leap as a company, and our platform is the Leap platform. Now, the product that used to be called Leap is a very specific product. It is for sales teams. It is a sales enablement tool. So we've renamed that Sales Pro. And you may ask, well, why don't you just say it's part of the Leap platform? Well, it is, but not everybody uses Sales Pro, uses the entire Leap platform, and that's fine. We have lots of customers who use other products. Maybe they've even built their own product for CRM, but they need best of breed sales team empowerment tools. The ability to rapidly scale and manage a large sales team is what Sales Pro does best. And so it doesn't matter to us if you do or don't use the rest of the platform. We would like you to, obviously, and we will convince you to try to convince you through great service and great product. But if you are happy where you are and you want to use Sales Pro, you should stay there. So so Sales Pro is available standalone still, as it always has been, but you can also get it as part of the platform. If you want a full integrated solution, you're going to buy the Leap platform with Sales Pro baked in. And some customers, like all of the customers who are already using JobProgress, not all of them use Sales Pro, and not all of them want to, because maybe their sales are all run through the owner, and you don't need a separate app. That's fine. You can buy a version of the Leap platform that doesn't include that. So we really try to right size the combination of tools you need to meet you where you are in your journey as a contractor.
And then you're able to grow too, if you need to, because everything's there.
Exactly. That's that's a great point. And our belief is that if you can start them with something and you provide great service and you provide great product and you help them grow, they will need more service and more product, and we should be right there with the next level that they need. And if we do that, we'll have customers for a very long time, and we can be really proud that we've helped them grow and help them create jobs and do great work in their community. So that's the whole mission right there.
That's great. I am going to ask a question on this side before we go forward, but for around Sales Pro. So for those contractors out there who are currently using the old Leap, which is now Sales Pro, in a different application, nothing changes for them, right? No. Everything's except for maybe a logo.
Yeah. So if you were using Leap before, you know, your iPad had a little logo that said Leap and had a frog on it. Now you have a little icon that has a frog on it, but it says Sales Pro. And that's really the only difference. And the integrations that you had before will still work. We still support them. No software company should ever tell you what you can or cannot buy from other vendors. Software is supposed to be an open ecosystem. Now, we believe that you will want to use ours because we try to be the best. But if for some reason you want to use something else, or that maybe they're a better fit, then we're not going to prevent that. We're always going to support that. That's bad business in my mind if you prevent people from using what they want. So there's no change there. Now, if you were using JobProgress before IRE, sort of the same deal. Like one morning, your iPad, instead of having a red JP logo, now has a green frog. Now that's a bigger change. It's still a minor change. It's, you know, it'll probably take you about 2 minutes to get used to it. But then when you click on it, it opens up the old app that you've always used, and it's really the same.
Yeah. That's great. And you can see that here in the picture. You can see the frog and the Sales Pro. So
Yep.
that's what people can expect. Okay, so let's keep on that topic of what how does this affect current users? So we kind of talked a little bit about the ones who are now using Sales Pros um in other systems,
Mhm.
but that really only the logos change. So let's just talk about the overall Leap platform and how is this going to affect current customers?
Sure. Let me answer it in two parts.
Perfect.
The first part, I'll address any concerns that current customers might have, which is it going to change? Am I going to be forced to use both products? Are my integrations going to break? And the answer is no. Like, we are not, if you bought it and you're happy using it, our goal is to make you happier using it tomorrow. We're not going to change the basic premise of what you bought into. So there's no concern there. Now, things that have already changed and that we believe are big benefits to our existing customers is we were able to really invest in our support and our team overall. So we yesterday we had our annual customer webinar. We had hundreds of customers join. Patrick presented, sort of a year in review, and it was great. With I don't even know how many hundred comments and questions, feature requests, and all that. But one of the slides that Patrick presented was that we've reduced the amount of time it takes to resolve a ticket, which I think was already probably industry standard. We reduced the time by 90%. And
Wow.
the way we did that was by investing in the team, by adding some management layer that, when you have two companies and you can't, well, you can, but a small company hiring management layer is expensive. But when you combine two companies and now you only need to hire one chief product officer, for example, instead of two, you can do more things and you can add more support and more development. And so we've really invested in on the job progress side, the reliability of the product, the speed of the product, our support response time. So all of that is already in place and has been a big improvement. Moving forward, well, what's the, if you're a customer and you may be thinking, well, this is a big so what? You just changed the name. Well, the value of what we were doing and what we want to continue to do is develop these products in a way that could never be replicated by buying from two different products. So as we start to integrate our partners, for example, so perhaps I'll use you mentioned EagleView, so I'll mention EagleView as a partner. When you think about integrating with a measurement provider, now you can think about how does that flow go from through the whole process, including the sales app. We have a much bigger scope of understanding of the customer need, and so we can work with them in a much tighter relationship to build an integration. The integration between Sales Pro and the Leap platform can be much tighter. Instead of integrating your sales tool with your CRM, it just works that way.
Yeah.
And you can start sharing data. And that's really where the power will come, is when I can start seeing data and getting information about my process. And I understand how things impact and what certain reps, how their margins end up at the end of the project, not at the estimation. So there's going to be a lot of benefit that will come down the road as we expand on the platform, both by building features, but also bigger integrations and more robust integrations with all of our partners.
Yeah. I want to chime in or really kind of dive in a little bit on the data, because I think that is just so powerful. When you're talking about being able to, as a salesperson, you're selling and then you're like, I'm done, I'm moving on to the next one. You don't always know what happens all the way to the end, that experience, the referrals that come from it, the profitability, all of those different things. That can be incredibly powerful for a owner.
Yeah, absolutely. All, data today, the first CRM was built in the 80s. And it was literally just a list of people and their phone numbers. Electronic Rolodex is what they called it. And today, not just CRMs, but all SaaS products are really vehicles for data, vehicles that allow you to use data to not just tell you what's happening, to maybe predict what's going to happen next and help you hire the right salesman, or know where you need to focus on training, know where certain products result in happier customers or better margins, things that you don't think to look for. A data-centric solution should be telling you, and that is absolutely our path. We're not achieving full velocity on that right now, but it's coming. We have to build the infrastructure of this new combined entity. But once we do, and that's complete, it's going to unlock some really amazing data, and not just that for the contractor, but for the industry. You really start learning from what the data can tell you, and help all contractors grow.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, we touched on this earlier, but the opportunity for growth. So there are all sizes of contractors, right? There's just starting out, there's been a couple years, there's generational. How, in the flexibility of the Leap platform, with bringing JobProgress and Leap together, how does that work for all sizes of companies, and how can they grow within this platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a well, established pattern in software. You start with a mission to build a solution to solve a problem. And then over time and over years, as you go from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000 customers, you learn a lot. And like I said in our webinar yesterday, there were so many great product ideas from customers. Oh, can we do this? Can we do that? So, we don't have unlimited resources or a team of Santa's elves to fix things. So we have to pick and choose the right ones, and we try to get through that list. But what happens over time is these products get really robust. And that's all, all software products that have been around for a while, they get more and more robust. But what else happens is they get more and more complicated. And so then eventually they get so complicated that someone comes in with a simple solution and disrupts the whole thing. And that happens. I could probably give you 10 examples in various verticals that happens in. So our path is to meet the customer where they are. I'm going to give you an analogy. Imagine, so our audience appreciates the value of a tool. So let's take a hammer. There are lots of different types of hammers. You got shingler's hammer, you've got ball peen for metal work, you've got framing, trim work, electricians have different, like all these different use cases of hammers, and sledgehammer. Imagine if you tried to build a hammer that did all of those things. Can you imagine what kind of monstrosity this thing would be, and how would you even use it, right? It would be horrible. It would be horrible for anybody who tried to use it. And that's what happens with software, typically. And so what we're doing, and you'll see very soon, that we are aligning not just the right tool to the right contractor, but how we deliver it and how we enable them to use it. Because even though installing a roof, the craft of that job is the same, whether you're a one-person team and you're a neighborhood contractor and you're doing your jobs and you're proud of your work. You install that roof the same way as a national brand with a call center and canvassing and millions of dollars of marketing. But when it comes to installing the roof, you do it the same way. Everything until then is completely different. Completely different. The amount of teams involved and complications of passing a lead through different teams, or how you order materials and how you manage crews, and do you just have 2 guys you work with, or you have a bunch of contractors, subs. So to think that those 2 companies, even though they're doing the same craft, could use the same tool to run their business doesn't make any sense. So the place we want to land in is give the neighborhood contractor the tool he needs, just what he needs, so he can start using it. He's in his truck, he's on his phone, he can do everything he needs to right there. But as he grows, he starts realizing, oh, I have a full-time manager in the office. I'm now running 3, 4 jobs at a time. I now am starting to work with another crew. I'm ordering from I'm using SRS's Roof Hub. I'm
Mhm.
doing things I wasn't doing before. The software he's using should evolve with him,
Right.
and not only evolve with him, but help him get to the next level. And that is really our mission, is like, if you can start here, we will show you how to do things to help you grow. And when you grow, we will have the solution for you. You don't have to change products. You have to turn the thing off and figure out how to start all over again. That is the mission. That is what we're trying to do. Help people grow and be there every step of the way.
Yeah. That's what we need. That's perfect. That's exactly what the contractors need.
Everybody
I mean,
needs.
almost every small business needs that.
Yeah.
That's it. Um, well, and okay, when you're looking at that, to me, that kind of just brings on the enhanced customer service, right? Because
Mhm.
from whether you're one person in a truck or as you start to grow, you have all that data in front of you. And you also have everything streamlined, no redundancy of duplication of entry. Talk a little bit about what the contractors can expect to see from a customer service level.
Well, first of all, right now, all of our customers have access to live support. We have a support team with specialists for all of our products. Customers who purchase and look to start fresh using any of our products have the option to have what we call an onboarding. So we train them, we help them set up things like their price guide or their workflows. And the great thing about working with that team is you benefit from the value of their experience doing hundreds of these,
Yeah.
and so uh, being able to, my advice to all contractors, whether you're working with our software or some other software, the software was designed by people, hopefully, who know your world, and they work with lots of people. And you should really open up to listening and learning. If I do things slightly different than I used to, not completely different, slightly
Yeah.
different, it will fit the software better. I'll get a better software experience, and I'll probably learn some best practices that they've already learned by seeing others fail. So that's always my advice when you take on software, is start with, what should I do? What do you think I should do? Now, there's always going to be tweaks for every business because everybody has their own unique situation. But if you start there with our onboarding team, we get you set up. And then as you need assistance, there's a support team ready to answer your response. Uh, and then we also have the academy. So there are online videos. We've done live training, both via Zoom, and to really help people utilize the software as they grow. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's part of it too, is you implement it, you're using it. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You just do it every day. It works. And then what you don't realize is you've changed, but you haven't changed and you haven't started taking advantage of some other features that could help you now. So we always recommend that maybe, do call in and get a refresher, just attend one of the trainings again, see, and there may be features that it might not even be a new feature. It just might be a feature that you didn't have a use for a year ago, 2 years ago, that now you do. So that's why we'll always have a support and services team.
Yeah. Well, it's and I can't quote this. I can't even remember the numbers, but I know it was a lot higher than I thought. But there are stats out there about how people who are using software are only using 20 to 30% of the capability.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me because I know we do that with our software. And so that ongoing customer service, ongoing training makes a big difference. And especially there's always new people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big factor too.
Yeah. Okay. How this affects current users. Let's talk about that ecosystem that you were talking about earlier. You have some awesome partners. Obviously, you have all the contractors. So you have just all of these folks in. How do you see that ecosystem growing or changing, or if it's going to at all?
It's definitely going to grow. I can't really share details because there are other companies involved in those conversations, and we don't have agreement in place. But for anecdotally, I can tell you, I just got back from IRE. I think I must have had a dozen meetings with other vendors. Really, some really great technologies out there that I think standalone are great,
Yeah.
but when used in our platform and really in an integrated way, um, both products get better. And so it's great when you have those conversations and they see it and we see it. Now it's just a matter of us figuring out the details. So there'll be quite a few this year. Tom Bash, who I think a lot of people know that name, he leads our partnership team, and so he's the one out there building these alliances. And then my product team are also they're looking for, sometimes we are proactively looking to solve a gap, or
Hmm.
we start hearing from customers, I really wish we had this, or I'm starting to look for a vendor who does this. That's an opportunity for us to solve that problem for them, either through building it, partnering with somebody, or as we're discussing today, sometimes acquiring a technology.
Yeah. Um, I have to ask this question. It's a little bit off the side, but this is new. I mean, when I look back, and I'm sure you do too, Troy, when you look back 10 years ago, probably not even that much, software companies weren't working together that much. It seemed to be a lot more siloed, at least in this industry. Today, the partnerships that I see and what you're talking about have just bloomed, and it seems like it's just been such a bonus, such a good thing for the industry and
Mhm.
definitely for the roofing companies.
For sure. It's there are other industries that are further along in this than the roofing industry for sure. But without getting into the technical reasons for this shift, then you're right,
Mhm.
there has been a more of this. Uh, it's really the opening up of these programming interfaces, so APIs, what we
Right.
call them, but it stands for, it used to stand for application programming interface. Now it's sort of a generic term for, I am opening up a door in the internet, and I'm going to let my partner put data in and take data out.
Right.
And when we all do that using the same languages or protocols, these conversations could become so much better. Back 20 years ago, so 30 years ago, before all the software was SaaS and you just
Mhm.
opened your web browser and magically it appeared and worked, you had to actually install the
Yeah,
software on
I
your
remember.
um, back then. A lot of those connections would have had to be made through something called an SDK, which basically meant I'm going to write my own little product code, and I'm going to try to embed it into theirs, and I have to get it onto their CD. So when they install it into your laptop, it was super complicated. And you know, what's the saying? The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. It was a
Yeah.
lot of work, and if you weren't sure it was going to help customers, it probably didn't happen. But now it's really easy. It's so easy. And then you have companies like Zapier. Every SaaS product is going to integrate with them, and what they are is um, like a translation layer. Like I I talk to Zapier, and Zapier talks to thousands of other companies.
Yeah.
So if a customer comes to us and says, "Hey, I really want to I don't know, work with this marketing tool I use," we've never heard of it. First thing we look at is, well, do they have a Zapier partnership? 99 times out of 100 they do. So we say, "Oh, great, we'll just use Zapier in the middle and it'll work." That's that's how easy it's become for technical people. It's still probably beyond our reach, you and I, but it's 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 just really easy to do now. And now Tom, our partnership guy, they're able to think about ideas and how we can bring value to customers, and team can deliver a lot faster than we used to be able to.
Yeah. Wow. I'm writing that down, Zapier, just in case everybody. I've heard of them, but I don't think I've had it described quite like that. That is great. I want to encourage everyone to ask questions. I know I'm asking a million questions because, of course, natural curiosity. But if you have questions about how this might affect you or how to get involved, how to become a part, check out this new platform or growing platform, I should say, please type them into the chat. We'll be taking questions throughout and also at the end. So we want to make sure that we kind of, speaking of getting all the details and being in the know, we want to also kind of find out what's next. So Troy, without giving too much away, and it sounds like you've already kind of talked about this with your meeting yesterday with all your customers. I know you're a very strong contractor driven company. So what are you seeing on the horizon?
Well, the first priority is continuing the integration of the two products. And we announced the first step at IRE, but there's still great things we can do to make that integration stronger. And so we will be working on that as our top priority. Top priority B is building a data foundation so that we can offer unified reporting and analytics to customers, whichever products they're using, or if they're using both. And those are big projects. Those are like repairing the foundation, building new foundation type products. You're really excited about the new family room you're going to add onto the house. You're not so excited about the hole they're digging for the foundation, but it's an important part. So we're working on a lot of the foundational stuff. But along the way, we are trying to release features that are customer driven. I think one way that a lot of software companies think about how they spend their investment dollars, their development team dollars, is we want to be innovating. We want a percentage of our work to go towards innovation. And one way I describe that is building things customers haven't asked for yet. Right?
Yeah.
It's our job as
Exactly.
technologists to understand what they need, understand their problem, and find creative ways to solve those problems. That's how we get all of the great products throughout history have happened that way. It wasn't because somebody asked for it. It was because somebody had a problem and somebody had a new way to solve it. So a third of our work is that. A third of our work is what we call customer satisfaction. And it's like the webinar we had yesterday where customers are asking, I wish it could do this, or I had an idea, could it do this? It'd be really great if this thing happened when I press this button. So just making the product more robust, easier to use, bug fixes, software has bugs. So doing that type of work so that our customers want to keep using it and it keeps getting better. So that's the second third. And then the third is the most important, but also less exciting. And that is making sure it's reliable, making sure it's secure, data is secure. It's not making sure that it scales as we add new customers, performance doesn't degrade, making sure it's modern, so that when partners start using new types of APIs, we are already there. That's the stuff you have to do. And it's really important, obviously, but we don't shout about it as like, hey, great news, we just upgraded our database technology. We might be excited about it, but our customers typically are not.
Although when it comes to security, I think everyone's excited about that.
It's sort of the things, it's like like a referee in a football game. The best referees are the ones you don't even notice are there.
Right.
The best technology teams never have issues, never have security problems, never have scale issues. The thing just works.
Right.
And if you're doing that, you're really killing it. So it's sort of the invisible investment.
And I want to push back or just kind of circle back around to what you said, because I think it's so true, is that first third is really looking at what's happening or solving problems that no one is even thinking about. It's kind of like Henry Ford, right? If you asked what the customer wanted, they want a faster horse, and he created the car. So one of the things I find fascinating right now is the growth of artificial intelligence, of you know, the computer learning, all of the things that are going on out there in other industries in the rest of the world. And we have these opportunities to bring those back into roofing. And that has to be a big part of what you all are looking at too.
Yeah, for sure. This current explosion of chat AI chatbots
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously a significant shift in the technology that we're all going to use every day, whether you know it or not. It is going to be in your life, and you're already seeing it and you don't know. Reviews are being written by bots. Entire web pages and marketing content is being written by bots. So you're already consuming that stuff and you don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are not in the business of being a technology company. We're in the business of helping contractors build their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so when those tools are able to be leveraged by a contractor to help them grow their business, that is when we will adopt them. Now we are thinking about it, and I'm sure some of our developers are playing with that stuff, but we're not in the type of industry where we have to have it first.
Right.
That's not. I've yet to meet a roofer who primary number one job is making sure he has the most modern software in the world. Like most of them don't even want software.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the referee. It's like, I just want it to do its thing. If I could just, ignore it and it took care of everything, that'd be great. So we're not building technology for technology's sake. We will use it when it makes things better. Just like we adopted all the web APIs to connect with partners. Just like we will adopt um, these data and analytics tools that allow you to uh, look at large sets of data and then use that to give you comparative analysis against other customers or the industry as a whole, or predict like, oh, it
Right.
looks like this job is trending in a bad way. Those are the things today that will move the needle for contractors. But the acceleration of these new tools is so much faster, or the adoption, I should say, is so much faster than the last generation, which
Yeah.
was basically Web 2.0, like Facebook and Instagram, all of the social apps. That all happened quickly. Before that was the adoption of the web. And that happened, we thought, quickly, and then it sort of fizzled
Yeah.
out real quickly with the .com crash. But that happened over a few years. Web 2.0 happened over a shorter amount of time. This next wave is going to happen on an even shorter time. And
Wow.
so it's, like I said, it's definitely going to start appearing in tools. But
Yeah.
my advice to anybody is really ask, what value does it give me?
How does it grow my business or
How does it
make it
grow my
easier? Yeah.
business? How does it make my job easier? Do I have confidence it's going to do better than what I had before? So we'll be evaluating it, and I'm looking forward to doing something with it. We just need the right thing.
Right. The right time thing. And along that line, I mean, with everything else, enhanced integrations, like you said, with what happened in IRE, you're looking at that nonstop.
Oh yeah, yeah, always. And it's never technology driven. I would never look at a company at IRE and be like, wow, that's some really cool technology. I want to partner with them. It's always, what do you do? What do you do for your customers? How do customers use it? What part of their flow do you use it in? Oh, okay, I can see how that fits into our platform and really would help them if we work together. And then we validate that their technology is legit, but it's never for technology's sake.
Yeah, I love it. The right tool for the right job. I'm
Yep.
just going to take that last bullet point because I think that's so important on finding out what you need. So before we get to questions, I do have a quick poll that Leap would love to know, and I'm going to go ahead and launch this. Hopefully I'm doing this right. You should see that out there right now. Okay, perfect. If you would be interested in a Leap demonstration, that's going to show you all this new platform, what's happening, just to kind of give you some things. So I'll give you just a second to answer that question. And then, so Troy, let's talk about, before we take some more questions, but how can contractors find out more and how can they get involved with this new platform? If they aren't already or not.
Well, it's probably not a surprise to you, but we have a entire team of salespeople who would love to talk to anybody. They are sitting there waiting. They would be happy to give a demo. So that's always an option. Obviously, you can just go to the website, and when you're at the website, you'll see the different packages, the Leap and Sales Pro. If you just want to start by talking to somebody about your business, and then see what the right fit is, that's probably the best path. And our team wants to sell the thing that's going to work the best and get you up and running as quick as possible. So I would recommend going to the website and filling out that form, and then somebody will reach out to you. The second path is if you see us, at a conference. Those are not as, there's not one tomorrow that we're all at. So, but let's stop by the booth, even if you're not in the market. We have a lot of people who just come by and they're like, oh, I'm using X, other software, and I just want to hear what you guys are doing. And we're like, great, you should do that. And our customers should probably do that too, to keep us honest. And then the third way is ask your friends and neighbors, like roofers know roofers, ask them what they're using. If you find somebody who's using Leap or JobProgress, ask them, like, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And then when you call us, if there's something that maybe you're interested in or concerned about, then you're coming into the conversation a little more educated. But I always recommend you talk to our users, because for the most part, our customers are very happy. Internally, we call them the Leap Army, because they're out there, they're wearing the shirts, they're out there advocating for us on social media, at conferences, and it's great, because there's no better feeling than seeing a customer out there telling everybody how great we are. So go talk to one of them.
Well, and speaking of which, I do want to point out that in the chat, thank you, Eddie White from Red Dogs Roofing. They are already using Leap and JP and think it's great. And I also have Sage on here who came through and said that she's a customer too. I'm so happy to have you all here. Thank you. And so there's, for everyone out there, there's contractors you can talk to right now who that's the best kind of networking to see how it all works. And to continue to hear all these new great enhancements that are going to be coming along with the new platform. So I'm going to end the poll. If there's any questions, this is your last chance to put them in there. And I would like to I would like to make sure to let everyone know that all of this information is available on Roofers Coffee Shop and Metal Coffee Shop, where you can get information through the directory, through the podcast we talked about earlier, and definitely with all the articles that we are having coming through. They are just amazing. Leap is also very involved with Roofing Technology Think Tank and has been doing a lot that way too. So Troy, you guys are just everywhere. You're great.
We're trying.
Well, I think we are there at the end of our hour. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We so appreciate you on this Friday for this very special RLW. We will, if you did not get the poll, you will have no problem getting a hold of us through the Roofers Coffee Shop, and you can find Leap there in their directory. So, Troy, thank you so much.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a great hour. It felt like much shorter.
It was great. I love it. And I love being in the know. So thank you for sharing all the great accomplishments that have gone on with this merger for both JobProgress and Leap. And thank you all for watching and being here today. Any questions, be sure to reach out to us. Watch all of our RLW webinars under the RLW navigation on Roofers Coffee Shop. Check it out. And this will be on demand by Monday. So share it out to everyone you know so they can find out what's going on too. Have a wonderful day.